hugging. You know what I'm talking about. Don't pretend like you don't. The cuddling that was seared into your brain when we showed this tape. I'm talking about the ex-gay conservative activist, this guy who says that you too can be an ex-gay through the power of cuddling with him.
It's non-sexual. It establishes like parent-child relationship. So he didn't experience this growing up with his dad.
Rob, do you feel a sexual connection right now?
No, I don't. I feel very safe and very comforted, and it just feels wonderful.
That expert there also said the gay could be cured by beating a pillow with a tennis racket while screaming at your parents.
I was angry at my mother.
Okay.
So I started saying, Mom! 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 Why did you do that to me?
CNN lady's like, okay. That master of ungaying the gay is Richard Cohen. He wrote a book called Coming Out Straight, Understanding and Healing Homosexuality. He appeared on this show last year, you may recall. For the record, after seeing him, even I'm still... yeah, anyway, the Cure the Gay movement is not just this one guy. It's not just Richard Cohen working alone out on the Wild West fringe of American politics. Conservative activists for years have argued for and advocated for and funded this idea that gayness can be cured, can be hugged away or prayed away or otherwise psychologically beaten out of you. One such activist is the woman who's now the Republican Senate nominee from the great state of Delaware, Christine O'Donnell. Back in 2000, as president and founder of the Saviors Alliance for Lifting the Truth, Miss O'Donnell held a press conference with other anti-gay conservative groups at the National Press Club. The featured guest was her organization's then spokesman, a young man who proclaimed that he had been cured of the gay. That lasted about a year or so. Christine O'Donnell's ex-gay spokesman became an ex-gay when he told the magazine The Advocate that he had been uncured of the gay. He now had a boyfriend and he was a whole lot happier now. Thank you very much. The man is named Wade Richards. He made and released a video this week in which he addresses his association with Christine O'Donnell and this organization, The Salt, plus the whole you can be cured of being gay scam.
In 1998, feeling guilt and shame about my same-sex attractions, I entered into an ex-gay residential reparative therapy ministry called Love in Action in Memphis, Tennessee. In 2000, after graduating from Love in Action, I was in contact with Christine O'Donnell, the founder of the Saviors Alliance for Lifting the Truth. Shortly after, I became aware of Christine O'Donnell's radical beliefs when she introduced me to Peter LaBarbera from Americans for Truth about homosexuality. They say they're fighting the gay agenda. In reality, they have an agenda of their own. Do you really want organizations like this promoting, funding, and endorsing candidates to sit on the United States Congress? I think not. In the late summer of 2000, after being completely worn down by becoming the ex-gay political poster puppet for these organizations and still struggling with same-sex attractions, I decided that I needed to come to Christine and let her know that I was struggling so much.
Christine O'Donnell may be new to us. You may not have seen her or heard of her before she won her Senate primary this week. She may be a new face on your TV machine, but Christine O'Donnell has been toiling away in the conservative movement for years.
Those of us who had toiled for years in the values movement suddenly found ourselves surrounded by Americans who had rediscovered the most fundamental value of all, liberty.
The liberty to be fake cured of your homosexuality and then forgotten and ignored when the cure doesn't take. Joining us now is Wayne Besen, Executive Director of Truth Wins Out, a nonprofit organization that fights anti-gay extremism. Wayne, it's nice to see you again.
Great to see you.
First of all, could you explain your involvement in this story? Because I know you played a role here. How did you know Wade Richards?
Well, we debated on the Alan Combs radio show, and Wade was really good and very convincing, and he said, Jesus cured me, and I've been saved, and I'm happy, and I'm free. And I don't know why, but at the end of the show, I said, if you ever want to come out of the closet, give me a call. And he said, no, I'm free. I've been saved. 6 months later, I get to my office, and I get a call. It's Wade Richards, and he said, the ex-gay ministries don't work. They've never worked. I've never seen it work for anyone else either. And he came and visited me, and we had him come out in the Advocate magazine. And I was very moved by it. And I saw how much he had been harmed by it and how many other people I've seen be harmed by this
In that tape, he describes going through reparative therapy. It's sort of an ex-gay boot camp, he says, in Memphis. What is it that he's talking about?
Well, they have two types of techniques. The first is you simply get the Bible and you try to pray away the gay. And then, of course, I've got the quack therapy, the therapy that's been debunked by the American Psychological Association and the American Psychiatric Association for more than 30 years. And their theory is essentially that you're gay because you had a distant same-sex parent. And the way to make you heterosexual is to make friends with straight people. And by doing that, you'll magically lose your attraction to the same sex. We call it consumer fraud. And we've never seen it work for anyone. And it not only harms the people who go through it, but the spouses that end up getting married to these individuals. You know, these groups love to show you the wedding photos, but they never show you the divorce papers. And we see that all the time.
I know you've done a lot of pioneering work on the Cure the Gays scam in the conservative movement. Is it fair to say that Christine O'Donnell played a significant role in it?
She was a big promoter of the whole Pray Away the Gay ministries. And she went across the country with Wade Richards, kind of a dog and pony show, and tried to convince people that this was the magical cure. And this was a big deal back when she was doing it. The conservatives jumped on this whole ex-gay bandwagon around 1998. Polls started showing that the whole fire and brimstone part of the ministry that they were doing, and gays are going to hell, wasn't playing. So they had to do something more kind and gentle. And they jumped on this ex-gay bandwagon, and they launched a campaign in 1998, $1 million campaign that was called Truth and Love, to soften the message up. And Christine O'Donnell jumped on that as well, and she went along with this. Of course, the spokesperson for the Truth and Love campaign I photographed in a gay bar, and obviously he hadn't changed very much.
Wow. It's an incredible story, and I think it is important. I think we're going to be understanding a lot now that she is sort of a big national movement, conservative movement superstar, understanding where she came from. Wayne Besen, Executive Director of Truth Wins Out. I have a feeling we'll be talking to you about this again. Thanks, Wayne.
Perennial and losing candidate from Delaware, Ms. O'Donnell, catapulting herself to infamy via the Tea Party movement. But a look into her rhetorical history would indicate that she was destined for this role. Now, Christine O'Donnell's greatest hits. O'Donnell's many pronouncements, rigorously compiled by Think Progress, cannot be fully detailed here. We only have the hour. But O'Donnell fears that co-ed dorms will become orgy rooms, that handing out condoms in schools is like encouraging kids to drive drunk, or worse, that distributing condoms will further the spread of AIDS. Think about that one. That women should submit to their husbands, that allowing women to attend military academies cripples our national defense. But O'Donnell also considers herself a feminist.
Do you consider yourself a feminist?
Absolutely, but let me qualify that. I consider myself an authentic feminist, not as defined by the modern movement.
Yeah.
And let me clarify that a little bit more. I was an English major, so I'll break it down. Ist means one who celebrates. As a feminist, I celebrate my femininity.
As we once mentioned, Ms. O'Donnell believes that in the United States, companies are crossbreeding humans and animals and coming up with mice with fully functioning human brains. No surprise that she says that factual evidence supports creationism over evolution, except obviously in the mice brain category. Her belief or non-belief in science directly affecting her policy positions. Cap and trade.
Cap and trade is the most destructive piece of legislation in American history. I think it's the final nail on the coffin of pushing us towards becoming a socialist economy. Not only will it raise utility bills, not only will it paralyze our economy, it affects the movement of goods, it affects the creation of goods, it kills jobs. It's a bad bill.
Of course, accusations of socialism, much favored by Tea Party candidates.
America is now a socialist economy. The definition of a socialist economy is when 50% or more of your economy is dependent on the federal government.
Also, there's the un-American bit, or as O'Donnell says, anti-American.
Who do Republicans want to run against?
I would prefer Barack Obama because he is so liberal that he's anti-American. Let me tell you a couple.
Anti-American.
Let me explain why. He's beating the change drum. But let's look at the change. He did not vote for English as the official language.
O'Donnell has also said that the ACLU is trying to, quote, institute a communist country, but she returns again and again to what appears to be an obsession, the declining morality represented by Just about everything. Britney Spears, she said, sends a dangerous message about sexuality to girls. Sex and the City is very dangerous. Even the sitcom Friends, quote, is doing a disservice to society. Which might be no big deal, just her opinion, except that she praised the kind of censorship that she found prevalent in the Middle East. I'll tell you, I just came back from the Middle East, and it was refreshing with all that is going on. It was refreshing not to be constantly bombarded with smut all the time. And if you think she might have improved over time, there is this radio interview from September 2nd, 2010. That would be this month, in which she's caught in a lie with a conservative interviewer about how many counties she won when she ran against then-Senator Joe Biden in 2008.
When you were speaking at an out-of-state group recently and you told them that you won 2 out of 3 counties in Delaware, what did you mean?
I don't think I ever said I won 2 out of 3 counties, but I...
Well, let's listen to the audio. Hold on one second, because I have the audio right here.
I was the 2008 endorsed candidate against Joe Biden, and I won in 2 counties. We didn't have the support of our liberal Republicans then.
You said you won in 2 counties.
All right, you know what that probably was? You're on the campaign trail a lot. I meant tied.
Well, you didn't.
They've got a tracker following you, waiting for you to trip up.
Yeah, but
so
you didn't. Christine, I'm just saying why you didn't tie him either.
Oh, absolutely I did. You look at the results. We tied in Sussex County, and that had everything to do with your voters, your listeners, Dan.
No, hold on.
It was so exciting to see the results that against the vice presidential candidate.
Christine, this is the easiest of the questions I have.
Didn't see something you were looking for in all there? Well, like the rest of the business, we're still looking for the American scientific companies are crossbreeding humans and animals and coming up with mice with fully functioning human brains. Quote from O'Reilly in November of '07 with no success, and obviously Fox won't release it. Pinky may have it.